talks have been confirmed. President Zelensky says he will be there. Do we know any more than that?
In terms of the talks, what we understand they'll happen in the coming hours, as you noted, an unspecified location, no preconditions, which is quite interesting because up until now, there had been preconditions to holding any talks. But at this point, what we understand is there are no preconditions to these talks, which could work either way. I mean, the experience is that without preconditions, generally in fighting, that means that Russia could continue advancing despite these talks. Also, we understand that, as you noted earlier in the day, President Zelensky had said no. There was no willingness on the side of the Ukrainian government to actually hold talks. And then that changed after a phone call that he held apparently with Belarus President Lukashenko. On his part, or for his part, the president of Belarus has given guarantees or assurances that all planes, helicopters, missiles, etc. in Belarus will be grounded before, during, and after those talks as the delegations arrive. So that's what we know. The question is, what can they talk about? What can the sides agree on as this situation and the Russian advance has gotten to the place that it has reached so far? But in terms of diplomacies, of course, the feeling always is, or the sentiment is, as long as the sides are talking, that's always better than warring. Stephen?
Stephanie, those talks due to take place at about 1800 hours, so we'll know more then. Meanwhile, what is the latest you have on the ground in Kyiv?
Well, as we heard in that report, in the morning, Russian tanks were rolling through Kharkiv. And why is that significant? Because it's the border city, border town. It's the second biggest city in Ukraine. Huge industrial town, chemical plants, in industry, steel, plays a very important role in terms of not only industry for Ukraine, but in general, its placement on the border. So the tanks rolled through, but again, as we saw in the report, those tanks were met with resistance. Russian troops met with resistance, and we're seeing, over and over again, these scenes play out of Russian soldiers that are surrendering. We're hearing stories or seeing stories of Russian troops that are running out of petrol. Their tanks are running out of petrol. That they're meeting more resistance, perhaps, than they expected to meet. As of this afternoon, Kharkiv is now considered to be, or Ukraine is saying, the military, that Kharkiv is in Ukraine's hands. So that now is being firmly held by the Ukrainians, who did put up a fierce fight there. Here in Kyiv, it has been quiet throughout the day, more or less. Heard a massive explosion a few hours ago right here. Not too far away from here. Air raid sirens on and off throughout the day, overnight. Certainly these latest developments of talks may change the situation, because at nighttime it gets very tense. But this also comes amidst reports that I've been getting from intel sources saying that they were seeing some of the Iskander missile launch systems being prepared or being put in positions on the Belarus border in preparation mode, if you will.